Extraordinary harm and mistreatment requires extraordinary justification. These words were spoken by none other than Alex O'Connor, aka Cosmic Skeptic, who has recently surprised many in the vegan community by deciding to pull off a Miley Cyrus.
Was vegan for a very long time, and I've had to introduce fish and omegas into my life because my brain wasn't functioning properly.
For others, like myself, it didn't come as much of a surprise, considering it was questionable whether or not the guy was ever truly vegan. Yes, he had a similar applied ethic to vegans for a while, that is, he didn't eat animals, but his reasons for not eating animals were very different. As a pure utilitarian, he's always just been concerned with minimizing suffering, and has admitted in the past that he's not even convinced we should extend basic rights to animals, something that I see as antithetical to vegan ethics, which I see as a logical extension of human rights.
So I don't really think it's probably a helpful thing to do to argue that animals have a right to life, certainly not in the way that humans do. To say that animals have a right to life, I'm not sure I can stand by that.
He has even gone as far as saying that he doesn't necessarily see an ethical issue with hunting innocent herbivores or slaughtering animals on a mass scale, as long as we give them net positive lives.
So even if we're sort of not sure what we think ethically about taking the lives of animals if they've had a net positive existence, which I'm actually quite sympathetic to the view that if they genuinely have a net positive existence and that existence is parasitic on the idea that they will be killed eventually, that might actually be good for the animal, probably is good for the animal. I quite simply just grant the conditional, right? If it is the case that this is going to minimize suffering, then that's the right thing to do. So if it turns out, let's say, that sort of hunting is actually a better way to procure our nutritional requirements, I'm just willing to just grant easily that if it is actually the case that that involves less animal suffering, then that is the thing to do.
It is especially strange that Alex expressed these views when he is well aware of the name the trait reductio. He's even had conversations with Isaac, who developed the name the trait dialogue tree. So in other words, Alex is well aware that there is nothing true of animals that, if true of humans, would justify these insane views in the human context. So, with no further ado, I will now respond to Cosmic's now infamous community post point by point and figure out whether or not it constitutes a great justification for the great injustice he's now committing.
Hi everyone. Recently I have noticed people wondering why I've been so inactive, and wondering why I have not uploaded any veganism related content. For quite some time I have been re-evaluating my ethical position on eating animals, which is something people have also noticed.
Oh, we've noticed. I don't know what's going on, Alex. I don't know what's so hard to figure out about whether or not holocausting innocent animals is ethical or not. You got it right the first time, dude.
But what you will not know is that I had also been struggling privately to maintain a healthy plant-based diet.
You were struggling to keep a healthy plant-based diet. I mean, we're really just talking about eating enough calories and taking a multivitamin here, dude. But even assuming this was the case and you were having trouble or something, why didn't you look for help? Like, there's many people in the vegan community willing to help out. And you're a public figure. You can even get a hold of vegan medical doctors like Dr. Avi Vitterman in the study archives or AY's Discord server easily.
I wanted to let you know that because of this, I have for some time now been consuming animal products again, primarily but not exclusively seafood, and experimenting with how best to integrate them into my life.
Name the nutrient, Alex. Like, what the hell can you find in fish or other animal products that you can't find in plants?
I am interested in philosophy, and never enjoy sharing personal information about myself, but I can obviously see why this particular update is both necessary and relevant. It's not my intention to go into too much detail here, as I think that will require more space and perhaps a video, but rather to let you know, with more details to follow later.
Really, you're interested in philosophy, Alex. Philosophy, as I understand that, is the love or progress towards wisdom. It's about figuring out what's the best way to think about things. This is a step backwards from wisdom, in my opinion.
My opposition to factory farming remains unchanged, as do my views regarding the need to view non-human animals as morally worthy beings whose interests ethically matter.
Oh, their interests ethically matter though. But it's okay to holocaust them and eat them for some stupid reason.
However, I am no longer convinced of the appropriateness of an individual-focused boycott in responding to these problems.
What? So if everybody else was keeping slaves or exploiting children or something, it would be fine to support that because single person can't make a difference though? That's an insane bullet to bite.
And am increasingly doubtful of the practicability of maintaining a healthy plant-based diet in the long term, again, for reasons I hope to go into in more detail at a later date.
Again, name the nutrient. All the available evidence goes against that claim.
At the very least, even if I am way off base and totally mistaken in my assessments, I do not wish to see people consuming a diet on my account if I have been unable to keep up that diet myself. Even if I am making a mistake, in other words, I want it to be known that I have made it. I imagine that the responses to this will vary, and I understand why this might come as a huge disappointment to some of my followers. I am truly sorry for having so rigorously and at times perhaps too unforgivingly advocated for a behavior change that I myself have not been able to maintain.
Why would you be sorry for unforgivingly defending the animals? You yourself said this is a moral emergency. It is. You should only be sorry to the animals.
I've changed my mind and behaviors publicly on a great many things before, but this feels the most difficult to address by a large margin. I did not want to speak about it until I was sure that I couldn't make it practically work.
Oh, now I get it. You were 100% sure that you couldn't make it practically work. We all know you're bullshitting, Alex. You said it yourself. Extraordinary harm and mistreatment requires extraordinary justification. So you better come up with some good evidence that you couldn't make it work, like some medical exams that show that you were withering away or something. Because if not, I don't see the justification. But let's assume that it was the case that you needed animal products to survive for some weird reason unbeknownst to science. You do know that there are some non-sentient animals that you could choose from, like bivalves or something like that? Why go straight to sentient animals like fish, who have a will to live and a capacity for suffering, which is the thing you supposedly care about as a utilitarian?
Some of you will not care, some may understand, some will be angry, and others upset. Naturally, this is a quite embarrassing and humbling moment, so I also understand and accept that there will be some I told you so's. Whatever the case, please know that this experience has inspired a deep self-reflection and that I will be duly careful in future regarding the forthrightness of my convictions. I am especially sorry to those who are now vegan activists on account of my content.
What? Creating people that defend the most oppressed group in the entire planet is not the thing to be sorry about, my friend.
And hope that they know I will still effort with you to bring about the end of factory farming.
But as long as they're not factory farmed, sending the innocent to the slaughterhouse, chopping them into pieces, not problematic though.
To them and to everyone else, I appreciate your viewership and engagement always, as well as your feedback and criticisms.
Zero justification for extraordinary harm and mistreatment was found here. Don't follow in Cosmic Skeptic's footsteps, kids. Choose compassion. Moral of the story? Not even self-proclaimed skeptics and wisdom lovers are exempt of falling prey to violent and wacko cultural ideologies or belief systems like carnism. The animal holocaust, not just factory farming, is a moral emergency, just like it would be if trait equalized humans were in that position. If you're one of the few with the little bit of intelligence or wisdom required to figure this out, please don't stop defending them. If we don't speak out for them, who will? Take care. And as always, eat not animals.